Over the weekend, Southern California families and residents held a candlelight vigil and a memorial to commemorate the two police officers shot and killed last week. They told NTD's Jackie Rios exactly who they blame for the officers' deaths.
The city of Almonte sits about 12 miles east of downtown Los Angeles. The city's slogan is, "Welcome to friendly Almonte." But on Tuesday, June 14th, two of their police officers were killed in a violent shootout with a felon, leaving a friendly city grieving an unimaginable loss. The mother of one of the slain officers in Almonte mourned the loss of her son, Joseph Santana, at a memorial on Friday. She blames the Los Angeles County District Attorney, George Gascon, for his lenient policies on crime.
As a mother, my life has been destroyed. Joseph was murdered by a criminal that should have been in jail. Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon gives criminals more rights than police officers. He has insane ideas about giving criminals a slap in the hand. Police officers are afraid to do their job, to defend themselves, because Gascon will not put them in jail. We need death row and 3 strikes law to come back. We need to enforce our laws so more police officers don't die.
Local residents also gathered to mourn the loss of the 2 police officers shot and killed in the line of duty on June 14th.
Under the umbrella that they believe that they're lowering incarceration numbers. That's their whole motive, or one of the main motives. And by doing so, they're lenient to prove research and data that has no scientific background. When cases are filed, they refuse to then prosecute those cases. Then those numbers are not being put into the system. And then it appears that crime is lower and that they're doing their job. They're just skewing the numbers. They're hiding data.
The officers were ambushed during a domestic violence call and died after a shootout. The suspect also shot and killed himself.
They shouldn't gone yet. They shouldn't been gone yet. They're too young. And I know one of the officers' father very good, and they shouldn't be gone. It wasn't their time, and it hurts me. I'm not their family, but I put myself in the shoes, and it's hard.
If that man had been in jail, that jail time would have saved 3 lives, the 2 officers and the suspect. And then from what I understand, as of this morning, the district attorney's office is going to be giving the suspect's family $7,500 for his burial. And yet I have yet to see if they're going to give the families of these 2 officers any money, taxpayer money, for their funeral.
Under Gascon's policies, residents say they no longer feel safe when going about their day.
Well, you're afraid of people. You're afraid of driving because you don't know who's gonna shoot or who has a gun. And if they don't like you, they'll shoot you.
What they need to do is they need to fix the system, and they need to equip the officers with better equipment so they can do their jobs a lot better.
They support the effort to recall Gascon. Last week, the group leading the recall announced they surpassed the amount of needed signatures to get on the November ballot. Jackie Rios, NTD News, Los Angeles.
Over the weekend, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recommended COVID-19 vaccines for children as young as 6 months of age. A county in Northern California announced the preparations to begin vaccinations this week. NTD's David Lamb spoke to a doctor who recommends otherwise.
On June 18th, the CDC Vaccine Committee unanimously voted and recommended vaccines for children ages 6 months to 5 years old. Health officials in California's Santa Clara County already announced plans in anticipation of the approval, which the FDA already authorized.
Not very many, but some children under 5 have died from COVID. Over 400 in the country and 1 here in our county of Santa Clara.
County health officials said on Friday that the vaccinations will help protect the young population in the county and are smaller doses than the adults version.
For the Pfizer vaccine, it'll be a 3 microgram dose, which is going to be given over a 3-shot sequence. And for the Moderna vaccine, it'll be a quarter of the adult dose that will be given over a 2-shot sequence.
So not only do we hope that these vaccines will reduce infection and transmission, but they will also make life just a little bit easier for families with young children.
Santa Clara County officials plan to start administering jabs for the CCP virus, also known as COVID-19, for children ages 6 months to 5 years old, beginning Tuesday, June 21st. NTD spoke to a medical expert that cautions against children using the vaccine at this time.
I would not recommend the parents to have these vaccines for children at this time at all.
Dr. Kat Lindley is a family physician and also board member at the organization Unity Against COVID, a platform that connects those negatively impacted from the COVID-19 pandemic.
There is no long-term safety data. There is every indication that some of these children could suffer myocarditis, seizures, or even more adverse reactions and possibly death.
Since the pandemic, researchers have noted that children have greater innate protection against the CCP virus than adults. Lindley said that the jabs have not gone through standard vaccine testing protocol.
In our case, the COVID-19 injections have gone through warp speed, 10 months at the most. And in children, they actually, these specific children study have looked at it at even less.
According to Johns Hopkins University, vaccines typically have taken 5 to 10 years of research and development. But due to the impact of COVID-19, the World Health Organization reports that some steps in the R&D process have been done in parallel. Dr. Lindley has concerns about fertility and long-term data. She says there hasn't been enough allowed time in the children's vaccines to establish patterns.
I have a daughter who is 14 years old, but at some point in her life, she's going to want to be a mom, and I would love to be a grandma. But if you have something like this where we have no data on fertility, on long-term heart damage.
On February 3rd, U.S. Senator Ron Johnson sent a letter to the Department of Defense citing whistleblowers that reported a dramatic spike in medical diagnoses related to COVID-19 vaccines among the military. The letter cited a 472% increase in female infertility in 2021 relating to taking COVID jabs. But according to PolitiFact, a military spokesperson this year said the high numbers were due to a glitch. The spokesperson did not provide updated figures. David Lamb, NTD News, California.
Governor Gavin Newsom caught the nation by surprise last week when he made his debut on Truth Social. For his first post, he took a shot at what he says are the high murder rates in red states. NTD's Daniel Hall has more on the statistics.
Governor Gavin Newsom's first Truth started Truth Social as tweets are to Twitter, is a short video of himself talking about murder rates. He claims Republican-run states have a higher murder rate compared to Democrat-run ones. Here's what he said.
8 of the top 10 states with the highest murder rates happen to be red states. So the question is simple. What are the laws and policies in those states that are leading to such carnage?
Newsom's post is in fact true, but he only talks about a portion of the truth. Newsom's claim is based on murder rates per capita rather than total murder rates. Newsom is correct that states with the highest murder rates per capita tend to lean Republican. That is due to these states having a smaller population. But according to FBI statistics, most of the total murders happen in Democrat-leaning urban areas. So, for example, if State A has 100 people and State B has 1,000 people and both of them have 10 murders, which has the higher murder rate? State A, because even though it's the same amount of murders, there are less people there. This is what Newsom's argument is based on. So let's look at the rest of the statistics. California had the highest total death rate of any state in 2020. For that year, the FBI recorded about 2,200 deaths from homicide, and the CDC recorded about 2,300 deaths. According to the FBI, blue cities such as Chicago, Detroit, St. Louis, Baltimore, Oakland, and Los Angeles are known for high murder numbers, regardless of per capita rates. Birmingham, Alabama, Memphis, Tennessee, and Little Rock, Arkansas, all blue cities within red states, have made the top 10 list of America's deadliest cities. But it is true that the per capita murder rates are high in red states. The top 3 are Alaska with 9.4, South Carolina with 9.0, and Arkansas with 8.0. California sits at a 4.3 per capita murder rate. Truth Social is a conservative social media platform launched by former President Donald Trump after Twitter banned him from the platform. Devin Nunes, a former California representative and CEO of Trump Media and Technology Group, welcomed Newsom to the platform. He said it is a free speech platform where users aren't censored for their political views. Daniel Hall, NTD News, California.
As if driving a car wasn't already expensive enough, prices to cross the Golden Gate Bridge will increase on July 1st by about 20 or 35 cents. Fast Track will increase from $8.05 to $8.40. Pay-as-you-go increases from $8.60 to $8.80. And Carpool increases from $6.05 to $6.40. A catalytic converter can be stolen from underneath the vehicle in sometimes just seconds. New data shows how the frequency of this crime has risen steeply and which cars are most prone to being targeted. NTD's Jason Blair has some tips about what can be done to help prevent this from happening to you.
According to data published by Carfax, catalytic converter thefts have increased by over 1,200% in the U.S. since 2019. According to their stats, the 10 most targeted vehicles on the West Coast are the Toyota Prius, Ford F-Series, Honda Accord, Ford Econoline, Chevrolet Silverado, Subaru Outback, Jeep Patriot, Honda Element, Subaru Forester, and the Toyota Tacoma. The stolen converters can be sold for around $25 to $300. However, ones from hybrids like the Prius can sell for $1,400. Converters are also one of the most expensive parts on a vehicle to replace. One way to help prevent theft is installing aftermarket devices like metal plating or hard-to-cut wires. One producer of such products, Miller Cat, provided surveillance footage of thieves stealing a converter in about 60 seconds. Also, many police departments have been offering to permanently etch your license plate into your converter for free. Other tips from police are park in well-lit areas or indoors when possible. In public lots, park close to an entrance or exit, and if you can, add video surveillance where you normally park your vehicle. Jason Blair, NTD News, California.
In an effort to stop sparking California wildfires, the nation's largest utility has started an ambitious project to bury 10,000 miles of power lines. The decision comes after the company faced numerous lawsuits for starting wildfires.
Once thought to be too costly, Pacific Gas and Electric changed its mind and decided to start putting power lines underground.
So PG&E's goal is to underground 10,000 miles of power lines, starting with 175 this year in Central and Northern California.
Their equipment on power poles have been blamed for starting numerous wildfires in recent years. Those fires killed dozens of people and destroyed thousands of homes in Northern and Central California. In 2019, PG&E filed for bankruptcy after facing billions in wildfire fines and lawsuits.
Undergrounding reduces ignition risk by 99%. So we are starting in the areas of the highest fire risk, these high fire threat district areas, and also prioritizing areas where we can reduce the number of public safety power shutoffs.
One site where lines are currently being buried is in Sonoma County. It's where the 2017 Tubbs wildfire occurred, killing at least 22 people and destroying thousands of homes in Santa Rosa. Tom Sullivan, who rebuilt after losing his home in the 2017 Tubbs wildfire, says he's willing to pay a little more for his power if it means there's less chance of another devastating wildfire.
Oh, I'm guessing our rates are, they're going up every time I look at my PG&E bill, but I think it's something that has to be done, so we're just all going to have to pay for it. Right? Either that or, we're going to end up with more fires.
In addition to preventing wildfires, PG&E says the undergrounding project will lead to fewer disruptive public safety power shutoffs. The shutoffs have become more frequent over the years in tandem with growing risks of dry weather and high winds. Supporters say burying the lines also provides a more aesthetically pleasing California landscape. But some critics of PG&E's plan say it's too expensive and will take too long. The Utility Reform Network says ratepayers will end up paying for the project through higher bills.
By also trying to engage in this huge capital investment program at the same time, it's unclear that they can both properly manage compliance in the meantime as well as successfully and efficiently complete the undergrounding program.
PG&E says the undergrounding project currently costs $3.75 million per mile. But as the project scales up, that price should go down to around $2.5 million per mile by 2026. Using the lower price, the minimum cost for the entire project would be $25 trillion.
While census data shows people are leaving California, it still attracts people for numerous reasons, such as beautiful beaches, redwoods, and Hollywood. And the beauty can be measured, as California has a good number of the most photographed locations in the United States. NTD's Jason Blair brings us more.
According to data published by Yelp, California lays claim to hosting about 1/3 of the most photographed landmarks in the U.S. and Canada. On a list of the top 50, 17 are in California, with 6 of those being in the top 10. Now, there are definitely some places you probably already know about that are on the list. For example, the Golden Gate Bridge over behind me. However, the number 1 spot might actually surprise you. And actually, I do have to admit myself, there are a couple on the list that I'm just learning about for the first time. Coming in at number 44 is Mission Santa Barbara in Southern California. It's an active Franciscan mission that was established in 1786 and features colorful gardens and twin bell towers. Number 39 is the Oakland Bay Bridge, a 2-story bridge that connects Oakland and San Francisco. And number 36 is Old Town San Diego Historic Park in San Diego. And not surprisingly, the Hollywood Walk of Fame makes the list at number 20. Hearst Castle in San Simeon is number 4 on the list, and coming in at number 3 is Alcatraz Island in San Francisco, which is no stranger to making it on people's list of places to visit in California. And the number 1 most photographed spot on Yelp in the US and Canada is Balboa Park in San Diego. This picturesque park has about 10,000 user-submitted photos and counting. Jason Blair, NTD News, California.